Good evening and welcome back to the One Celtic Fans View. This morning, this jacket sold out completely, which was a bit of a shock to a lot of Celtic fans. I think the fact that there were people queuing this morning down at the Celtic Superstore. Yes, they were queuing this morning, and as you could see, if you were on the live this morning, you would have seen that this jacket was taken down off the website completely. It looks like Celtic may be, I would like to say that there was some kind of attack on the website, and that it was people buying. There are a lot of these jackets now appeared on eBay for over £350. But I do know personally some people that did go and buy the jackets this morning. But like you say, it's a type of jacket that a certain type of person will wear, and they've sold out. What can you say? And as you can see, the website just now, all sizes, and it's got sold out on the Celtic website. It's interesting that nothing else is sold out on the website, but that is the kind of jacket that a lot of people will wear. Anyone who went to the Superstore causing more of a problem is football life. Well, there was quite a lot of people queuing from 7 o'clock in the morning. So, listen, it's up to everyone. I mean, I know that the Celtic Collective have finally agreed that a ban on merchandise, a ban on buying stuff within the ground at match day, something that I've been calling for from the beginning. I think they should have went in hard with that a month ago now, and we could have seen something happen a bit quicker. I think it's a bit strange that they're waiting now until way into next year to reviewing the facts, but I don't want to talk about that tonight. I want to talk about Brendan Rodgers and what he had to say this afternoon. I thought it was an interesting one by Brendan Rodgers. Obviously there was a story that came out, speculation that we all know that Brendan Rodgers is leaving at the end of the season. I don't think it's any secret. I mean, I think Brendan Rodgers kind of wanted to put it to bed the first game of the season. He said, look, Celtic are here, I'm here, we're not going in the right direction, that's it, closed book. But I always said that coming into the October, I said during the summer, if Brendan Rodgers hasn't signed the new contract by the October window of the international break, that's always a time that Celtic like to try and, previously, historically, that's been the week that Celtic have extended contracts of players. You know, you've had the transfer window out the way. You've got players settling into the team that have just came into the team. You've got players who are in the squad. That's the time that you sort of say, right, we're going to extend your contracts, and that's the week that they extend the contracts if they're not away on international duty. Now, the one that was away on international duty, which I thought was strange, was Dyson Maeda. Now, if Dyson had the hamstring injury sustained against Motherwell and he didn't recover during international duty, is that a bigger injury concern? And haven't Celtic sent him for a scan? Because usually with a hamstring, they send them for a scan to see how, and it determines how long they're going to be out for. I'm not saying that he would do it, but it is one of the easier injuries. There's a tightness in my hamstring. I'm just not feeling it. I don't want to chance it. Do you know that football players can go down that road? But anyway, Dyson Maeda is out of the game tomorrow. Paulo Bernardo has been ill during the week. He'll be monitored over the next 24 hours. And Alistair Johnston has been back in training for over a week now. But will he start, or will he get any game time tomorrow? Sunday. Sunday. The game is on Sunday. Yes, Sunday. Will Alistair Johnston get any? He's back in the squad. Cameron Carter-Vickers said that he doesn't know when he'll be back. His match fitness is the issue. He has been out for a bit of time now, and we have missed him. So he will be introduced like a lot of the players. He'll get maybe half an hour. He'll maybe get a first half. He'll get 60 minutes. till he gradually builds up his match fitness. I think that Brendan Rodgers will want to try and get him some game time, with the view of next Thursday being the game that ultimately you want him to be ready for, because we need our best players. And going forward, I'm glad that there's going to be no more kind of protests that may affect the team inadvertently. Do you know, I think that the silent protest, I don't think that it really achieved much within the game. I'm glad that they went down the road of, you know, boycott the merch, boycott banning stuff. And look, if you don't want to, you don't have to. It's as simple as that. And they're not dictating to everyone within the Celtic fan base to be doing so. Brendan Rodgers acknowledges there's been inconsistencies. It's interesting that he did an interview for BBC that went out earlier that morning, where he was talking about the Celtic job and the pressure on him as a manager within the Celtic job. And he says it's as high as any top 6 job in England. You know, he's managed mid-table clubs in England, he's managed top-table club in England, and he said that it's definitely the pressure of having to win every single game, having to win every single week, having to win playing a certain type of football. You can get away with games in England where you don't play particularly great and it's all about just winning. Just win. If you win ugly, just win. If you win ugly at Celtic, it's been a hard game and it's not the Celtic way. And he emphasises that we need to get that level of consistency up. He stated that his focus now is purely on the next 7 games in 21 days. Talking about his little blocks again. He's never mentioned that, but that's what he's talking about. He likes to go on about block of games, and you know, if we win this next block of games, it can help us achieve our target. His demeanour has changed. The one thing that I will say about Brendan Rodgers, his demeanour has changed this season. He's not as... I mean, I know there's the first lot of questions. There was very little questions asked about the game this weekend. You know, there was sort of the initial questions. He was asked about the game, then he was asked about fitness, and then he was asked about fan statements and fan. He said, "Look, we can't have anything to do with that. Really, we've got to really do you feel that you're piggy in the middle?" And he's like, "Well, no, we just need to. I need to focus on getting the players into a position where we can turn it on in games and win games of football. And hopefully, if we turn on the style on the pitch, that gets the fans behind us. You know, that motivates the fans, and then that motivates the team, and it gets the ball rolling. And you know, the narrative of what's going on by the board and the transfer window, that's behind us. We can't change the past as far as Brendan's concerned. We just look forward, and his role, his job, is to just make sure that the team is focused. He's very much talking like a man that knows he will not be here the next season. He was asked about transfer window, and he said, "I've no idea where that came from." I did say this morning that it was a load of nonsense. The story, Brendan Rodgers says, it's not something that we've looked at. Can we park the bus on transfer talk for at least another month until we get to the end of November or something? Do you know, I think that there's been a lot of negativity aimed at Brendan and Celtic when it comes to... Brendan just wants to focus on playing football. And when he was asked about the fan statement, he said, I'm not going onto my phone 9 o'clock in the morning and looking up what the fans are saying. I've been in the office since 7 in the morning. I'm looking at medical reports to see what's happening, make sure everyone's fit. I'm looking to see who's due back in training today. I'm looking to see what the hell's going on with Daizen Maeda. I'm looking at what potential team can I put out this weekend. What the hell's going on with Paulo Bernardo? I'm looking at that kind of stuff. I'm not looking at fans collective stuff on social media. And to ask him the question, did you see it? Of course he's not. He's just came out of training. He's just came out of training with the squad, had a bite to eat, and then went right into a press conference. Do you know, I think that we need to give the manager, cut him some slack, because manager's not sitting on Twitter. I mean, he probably doesn't even look at Twitter. I mean, he's not the Livingston manager that says podcasters and people online shouldn't be having a conversation about football. But anyway, Brendan Rodgers did talk about the upcoming game this weekend when he was briefly asked about it. Said it's always, historically, it's been, we've got a strong record there, which we have. He expects a well-organised, competitive team under ex-Celtic defender and Hearts captain. He said that they're focusing on a fast start, finding fluidity and dictating the tempo early on. And that's all I want the players to do. And we do that, everything else should fall in place. The fans will start singing. They'll get excited when we go forward. You know, he doesn't want... He's very much of... He was asked about the meeting between the fans and the board. He said, yeah, I heard... I got bits of it. But I didn't get I didn't go through... He basically should have come out and said, look, I didn't read the friggin' the minutes of the meeting. And I've got other things that I need to focus on. Do you know, the board and them, they're in dialogue, let them sort it out. As a manager, I just focus on what's in front of me. On the day-to-day, on the pitch. Training the team, motivating the players, talking to the players, getting in the head of the players. But anyway, Brendan hadn't seen the latest statement. He said that the fans are the heart of the club, and he wants to restore harmony between the fans and the board. He hopes that the discussions continue, and he emphasises that his role is just purely about training, player development and match performance. It's as simple as that. His demeanour is very having to watch what he's saying. He doesn't want to upset the fans. He knows that. I think there has been the conversation at Celtic where Brendan Rodgers and the board have said, look, we're not going to go the way that you want us to go, as you saw in the last window. And it's too early in the season for Brendan to come out and say, look, this is what's happening. It's too early in the season for him to talk about what's happening next summer, whether he's at Celtic or not. It's too early for him to talk about transfer window in the winter window that starts in January, because we've got a hell of a lot of football to play between now and then, and expecting the manager to give an opinion on something that, you know, there could be numerous injuries to players between then and now that changes the narrative completely of the type of player that we need to bring in. Do you know, we've just gotten over the horrendous window. Brendan Rodgers has said, let's park that bus and not talk about it. Managing a club in turmoil, he admitted that it's not ideal. He says his experience will help block out the distractions and doesn't look at social media. He wants to keep the players focused on the controllables. And the controllables are playing a fast-tempoed football, playing a good game, and exciting the fans to make sure that we score goals and entertain the fans on the pitch. He dismissed the transfer talk of Bobby Clark as pure speculation. He said, I really don't know where that one came from. It was way out there. He was like, it's not happening. He acknowledged the 7 games and 21-day stretch is an exciting challenge. It's all about getting the early rhythm that we've seen glimpses of, and he wants to turn that into a real momentum to find top form going forward. Asked about the ongoing situation at Rangers, who gives a fuck? Who really gives a fuck? End the conversation. Don't know, and as professional as I am, yeah, it's always upsetting when a manager gets the sack. If whoever comes in, we deal with it. I don't know why the media feels this need, and especially a lot of the Celtic websites, they've got this need to put out Rangers content every single day. But Brendan Rodgers is like, look, we've got our own shit to worry about. He said that he met Muscat in Australia at the same time he met Ange in Australia when he was Liverpool a manager. He said going forward he wants to emphasise team unity and control on the pitch, shift the focus from on-field noise to on-field performance. Anyway, that was it. And I think the big news of the day, which seems to be a bit bewildering, considering that it did come out just late this morning. It was early this morning, way before people had decided to get in their cars and jump down and go to the Celtic Superstore at Parkhead. But anyway, Eddie says, as far as more managers should be looking at players now, Baz, know what I mean. Yeah, they should be, but they know that, like, they know the positions that they want to strengthen in. But he leaves that to... And I know what you're getting at, mate. He knows the positions. He's told the recruitment team. He can't look at that on a daily basis. What player are you looking at? What player are you looking at? That's why you have a recruitment team at Celtic. He tells them, right, we need a winger, we need a striker, we need this, we need this, we need this. Get me a list of players that I will take. Not a list of players that you'll offer me. I can see Bernardo wanting to move, mate. Well, we'll wait and see with that one. We'll wait and see. I'm not too sure about the Paulo Bernardo wanting away one. I think that Paulo will wait until this summer coming up. The players will know. The players will know that if it's a manager's last season, they'll get a feeling for it. I mean, he'll hear conversations, but then again, Danny McGrain said, look, the day that Brendan Rodgers left to go to Leicester, he had lunch with them, and he said it was all paper talk. He left that lunch, went into a meeting with Lawwell, and he was ordered out the door. So they will put Casper as interim manager when Brendan goes. Brendan's not going before the end of the season. Let's just stop this narrative. He will not leave before the end of the season. 3 or 4 seasons, certain percent of players are off because they're not getting as much time. I think that after 3 or 4 seasons, players need to move on anyway, because it's a situation where, you know, they're at the club, but especially foreign players. Do a poll, Baz. Do you think that Bilbisha will make his mark on the right wing if played? No, I've not got time for a poll tonight, mate. I'm going out in a roughly about half an hour or so. So no poll tonight, Fred. Bernardo's 3rd season now. What's he good at? If you look at the game time that Paulo Bernardo's had, he was on loan the first season. He only came in for half a season. And then he was on loan for a season. And then we bought him last summer. He's only been here for 2 seasons. I believe manager's rolling contract. A lot of people talking about Bernardo. The board know that Brendan is leaving. This is a good one. Paradise Fun says the board know that Brendan is leaving. Let's hope they have someone lined up to replace him. Or is that too sensible for them? That's far too sensible for the Celtic board. Of course it will. Of course it will. Yeah, I kind of get that feeling as well. I think that Dyson has taken the hump in big style, and I think that he has... if there was a hamstring and it was tight, you send him for scans, because that determines whether he goes away with the international team or not. He's went away with the international team and he knows he's not going to get a game. And maybe the thinking that Dyson's went with is, look, I know I'm going to be on the bench here, so I'm going to go away with the international team. The hamstring's still a bit tight. They're not going to have enough time to do a scan. I'm going to sit out 2 weeks in Japan. I'm going to go back to Celtic. I don't even think that he's back at Celtic as yet. There's a lot of... I think Dyson spat the dummy out with this one. I think that he's proven that, look, players do have a bit of oomph in this day and age. So it'll be an interesting one to watch. We should 100% be looking for another manager right now. I think that the board need to be doing the due diligence on that. Obviously, they will have a list of candidates, but it's a long way to go in the season. I mean, there is a long way to go in the season. You could have a candidate just now that you're thinking for next season, and he could have an absolute nightmare of a season. Do you know, he could have a nightmare of a season, and if that scenario then plays out, you're then having to change tune. So Celtic will be looking at candidates, and they will be keeping tabs on managers. It's a bit like what they did with Ange Postecoglou. They kept tabs on him for a couple of years. Do you know, he was a name that was mentioned in that hierarchy. Scott Brown, the next manager, the wrong manager, but a lot of fans would love it. Nah, Scott Brown's never going to be the next manager, mate. Never. I don't think even Scott himself wouldn't take it because he wouldn't want to put himself into that kind of pressure. And he wants to learn the game. If you listen to Scott, he wants to learn by his mistakes. You don't go to Celtic to learn from your mistakes. You don't go to Celtic to try out different things, try different formations and stuff. Bring in youth players, try youth players. You don't get time at Celtic for that. I mean, look what's happened across the city. Bernardo in his game time, he does that. But anyway, so that's it for this evening. Celtic have sold out, and it's good to see that they've got the jacket back up. There has been a ridiculous amount of the Celtic Adidas new range being sold on eBay, but there has been the Aston Villa range also. I got told on Twitter, got a video saying that it's the exact same for all the elite ranges. And with the fact that Oasis is kicking about doing concerts just now, these geezers running about with merch like that, aren't you? Like someone said this morning, it was more than likely the Gallagher brothers got someone to buy the whole lot so that they could put a wee Oasis badge on it and sell it as well. Anyway, that's your Friday evening Celtic news. It's good to see that the collective have went for a boycott of buying stuff, not boycotting tickets. I think that's a sensible way to go. I don't think that boycotting going to games at this moment is the right way to go, because ultimately we want to win the league this year. We want to try and win a treble. And if you don't want us to win a treble, it is only... And one thing that I did notice from today, the collective had said that, the three culprits up now are Peter Lawwell, Michael Nicholson and Chris Mackay. That's the three that they want out. They seem to have softened on wanting Dermot Desmond out, and I think that that's rightly so. I know that Dermot Desmond has the final say on stuff, and it maybe is him that's holding us back, but I don't think it is. I think on the day-to-day running in the club, that these three are the ones that need to go. And if you want to get rid of Dermot Desmond, it's who do you bring in? And I think that is where it really clouds the water, as they say. Anyway, on that note, have an absolutely fantastic day, evening, Celtic fans, wherever you are, all around the world. I'll see you first thing tomorrow morning, where we'll do our normal Saturday morning live, a bit like the old TV thing, Saturday morning live, and then there will be the 4:45 final time, full-time whistle. We'll get back to full-time whistle lives as well. It's good to be back playing football. Have a fantastic evening, Celtic fans, wherever you are, all around the world.